to this full moon lunar eclipse reading with your girl Desiree D. Ray Wise. One thing that I know for sure right now with this full moon lunar eclipse is that there are so many illusions, lies, beliefs that don't serve our highest good, that the divine is actually revealing to us in order for us to release and surrender, in order for us to come back into the fullness of who we actually are. And so I wanted to take a little moment, spraying some of this Ganesha spray, get you some of this. This Ganesha spray is brought to you by Dreamwise on mentalalchemy.com. It is a clearing spray. And I'm in the car, so I'm not going to be Palo Santoing or anything like that for these readings. But I will use the Ganesha spray to clear the energy. So, what I've discovered so far about this full moon lunar eclipse is that it is revealing any beliefs, any lies, any limiting thoughts that we've had about ourselves that has stopped us from showing up in our fullness and our greatness. It is being revealed right now and dissolved right now. It is being let go and surrendered right now. And so I want to pull some cards to see specifically for my community of spiritual sisters and brothers what is actually coming up for us right now with this full moon. What do we need to be looking out for and paying attention to? Before I get fully into it, y'all let me know if y'all can hear me. I do got a microphone right here. I hope that it is on. Let me know if you can hear me well before I get into the reading, okay? Before I get to what we are coming out with. Okay, I see y'all in here. Listen, I just want us to, okay, what do we got here? First card we got is look at the bigger picture. That's what I'm saying. What spirit is going to be revealing to us through this full moon and through this lunar eclipse is any ways that we've been playing small, any ways that we've been limiting our own expansion and abundance. And these are things that we need to see. And here's the beautiful and divine thing about it is that just seeing it, recognizing it, and observing it, you're going to be able to look at it and say, oh, that's some bullshit. I see the lie. I see the delusion. I see the ways I've allowed myself to not show up in the full capacity of my being. I understand how that thought, that belief, that emotion was never me. And through this full moon and through the lunar eclipse, I now get to surrender that. I now get to let that go. Wow. And through this observation and through this realization is going to be opening us up to expansive ways, ways that we can grow, ways that we can expand, ways that we can transform. Shout out to this being the first card out, the full moon in Sagittarius. Shout out to all the Sagittarius out there right now. Okay. We are being able to see the bigger picture. What is this full moon illuminating for us? What is the bigger picture? Has how have we been playing small? How? Let's see what spirit comes out with here. Wow. All I can hear is that post I'm sure that y'all have seen where the guy has said, you've been thinking small and it's time for you to think big. You got to think big, bitch. It's time to think big. That is the energy right now. We got the full moon in Leo. A lot of full moon energy coming out with these cards. Some of you are releasing the fear of actually being seen, right? You've been in hiding. And so this full moon and Leo energy is coming out to say, whatever beliefs, whatever thoughts, whatever emotions, whatever experiences have made you feel like you couldn't be proud of yourself, you couldn't show your greatness, you couldn't let yourself be seen. This full moon in Virgo with this lunar eclipse is dissolving that. Any of the experiences that have made you feel like you've had to hide, that it wasn't safe for you to put yourself out there, that it wasn't safe for you to show your light. Oh my God, that is getting rid of. And that is so important because the spring is coming, right? The spring equinox is coming, and that energy is all about letting your light shine. Whenever we think about the spring, we think about flowers blooming and blossoming, and they're allowing themselves to be observed for their beauty, for their magic, for their wonder. This full moon is like, any fears, anxieties that we've had about allowing ourselves to be seen and observed, they're going to be shown, they're going to be revealed, but it's not showing up uh, um, so that you can be afraid of it. It's not showing up so that you can judge yourself or criticize yourself for it. It's showing up so that you can recognize how it was always a lie, how it was always delusional, anyways, how it was you embracing the projections of somebody else. Thank you so much, Spirit. Mm. Some of you in this full moon are going to recognize that you didn't have the support, the love, the encouragement from people outside of you to make you feel confident in pursuing your desires, confident in showing your light, confident in being yourself. I know from my own life experience, it's not that I didn't have support, right? I had support. I had my mother, my father, they were cheering me on, but I always felt like my success and my greatness was overshadowed by other things, right? I always felt like it was overshadowed by other stuff. Like I may have had, you know, a great basketball game, but my brother got into a fight at the end of the basketball game. And so now all the greatness that took place in that game now is overshadowed by my brother getting into a fight with somebody and getting hemmed up in all types of madness, things like that. And so that made me feel like the greatness that I was presenting was unimportant because other things would always happen that would distract from me. And so this full moon energy that is happening is coming up to show us the ways that we've deceived ourselves or the ways that life has made us believe that we couldn't show up fully as ourselves in our magic, in our light, and in our greatness. And so we see it and we observe it just so that we can say, okay, I can let you go now. I can surrender it. I can be free. Mm. Let's continue to look at what this energy in this full moon is showing us at this space and time. Mm. Spirit, give us some words specifically for people who are in the comments right now. Give us some words for people who will make contact with this video. The law of forgiveness. Oh my God. If you are in the Sacred Sister Circle, if you're not, you should be. In the Sacred Sister Circle this entire week, we're going to be focusing on forgiveness. Whenever we have a full moon, the full moon is highlighting things that we need to let go. The full moon is not coming to say, okay, let's set new intentions. Let's make new goals. Let's do. No, the full moon is saying, what do I need to make peace with within myself so that I can set new goals, set new intentions at the new moon that will be birthed, that will be manifested, and that will create something new. And so this full moon energy is asking us to forgive ourselves for what we did not know, right? So in the times where I believed, that my greatness or my success or the things that I was called to do wasn't good enough, it's time for me to forgive myself for that. What do you need to forgive yourself for? Some of you are forgiving yourself for feeling unworthy and feeling like you couldn't have, you couldn't do, or you couldn't be the things that you wanted to be because you didn't have the support, because you didn't have the love, because you didn't have somebody in your corner rooting you on and giving you the confidence to pursue your goals, right? We got to think this full moon is in Virgo, right? And Virgo is, whenever you think about a Virgo, you think about a Beyonce, you think about a Michael Jackson, you think about these great people who've done great things, right? And so the energy right now is saying, what do we need to observe about ourselves in order to embrace our own greatness? What do you need to forgive? What are the thoughts, the emotions, the beliefs that made you question what you were capable of? So some of you are going to be forgiving yourself for not doing the work. Some of you are forgiving yourself for um, not putting your skin in the game in order for you to experience the manifestations that you desire, right? See, greatness still requires a certain level of effort. Ooh, this is good. This is for somebody. Oh my God. Ugh. Some of you have been afraid of putting forth the effort, doing the hard work, right? You don't want to let them see you sweat. And that belief or that emotion, that fear of doing hard things, has slowed down your progress, your manifestations. And so now your spirit team is coming through and saying, forgive yourself for that. You didn't know any better. You thought that you had to make it look easy, right? You thought that if it looked hard, that if it stressed you a little bit, if it stretched you a little bit, you thought that that meant something was wrong or something was bad or that it wasn't good enough or that you weren't good enough. And so the divine is coming through right now and saying, forgive yourself for that. Mm. Forgive yourself for believing that it had to be easy and that if it wasn't easy, then you weren't worthy of it or you weren't good enough at that thing. That's not true. That's not true. Everything takes some work, everything takes some effort, everything takes some intention. Forgive yourself for believing that you did not have the capacity to create and to manifest. You know, sometimes when you go through life and things aren't working out in your favor, sometimes you will feel like you don't have that power that you hear so many people speaking of. You know, you hear so many people talking about, I manifested that, or I manifested that, or I made this happen in my life. And you may be looking at your life and feeling like, I ain't really manifested nothing. Or feeling like big things haven't happened in your life. Forgive yourself for believing that you did not have what it is you needed in order for you to manifest and create the life that you desire. The reason why I say that is because the other card that came out says the law of cosmic creation. And so this full moon energy is revealing to us just how powerful we are as creators, as creators, and it is asking us to forgive ourselves for any ways that we've made ourselves believe that we not have the capacity to create the life that we desire. It was a lie, right? And a part of that lie was created by your parents. Some of you were children who, wanted certain things, and your parents would tell you, no, you can't have that. No, you can't create that. Oh, no, that's not good enough. And so this Virgo full moon with the lunar eclipse is coming through and saying, you get to rewrite that story. You get to rewrite that narrative. You get to believe something different about yourself. All of those thoughts, those beliefs, those projections from the people around you, they are now being released because you can observe them and you can see that that was never you to begin with. And so forgiving the thoughts and the opinions of others. Some of you right now have been working at a certain job. People are making you question your worthiness, question your value, question what you bring to the table. Some of you are in relationships where people are asking you the question, what do you bring to the table? What value do you bring? Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. You're forgiving yourself right now for even considering their thoughts, for even considering their beliefs. You're remembering that you and God are one, and through that connection, you are a creator of your reality. Wow. Other card that just came out, it says the law of emergent evolution. This is so good because we're being given the opportunity to tell a new story, to declare something new for our lives. And this new declaration is evolving us, stretching us, changing us, and aligning us more fully with what we desire. But in order for you to make a new declaration, you're going to have to observe the old declaration. Meaning, what is the belief? What is the thought process that you used to live by? What is the belief that has kept you small? I was reading this book called Psycho Cybernetics last night, actually. And something that it said that was so good was that sometimes we create this belief in our mind. Let's say, like, oh, I had to tell myself this last night, right? I had this belief in my mind that it's hard for me to wake up early in the morning. Like, I just be too tired. Like, my body still feels fatigued. Like, it's hard. And what the book Psycho Cybernetics was saying was that once you tell yourself things like this, that becomes your identity. And doing anything other than that would be contradictory. So we don't, right? And so for me, it had been a declaration. Oh, it's hard to wake up early. I just be so tired. I just be so sleepy. And so anytime I wake up early, it's basically like I'm lying to myself because I've indoctrinated myself with the belief that it's hard to wake up early. That was a declaration. But this full moon in Virgo with this lunar eclipse is revealing to us these declarations that are not in alignment with what we actually desire, and is giving us the opportunity to say, you know what, I no longer believe that about myself. That narrative is no longer true. And so, literally, last night I told myself, okay, I'm no longer believing that. I can wake up early. It's easy. I have energy. I have vitality. I'm good. Do y'all know I woke up at 6:15? Now that may not be early for some of y'all, but that is early for me. I woke up at 6:15 and felt energized. Like, literally got right up out the bed, went to the bathroom, done my little morning routine, meditated, exercised, did everything that I once felt like was so hard or so draining, that I once felt like I had to drag myself out of the bed to do. This full moon has given us the opportunity to see the declarations that we've made for our lives that aren't necessarily true and aren't necessarily facts, but we've just believed them for so long that we've shaped our lives around it. So you're going to be seeing that. Some of you have already been seeing these declarations over the last few days. Some of you have been seeing this belief in your mind that says it's hard to make money. Some of you have been literally seeing that or replaying that in your mind. And now you're like, wait, I don't have to believe that. Some of you have been saying, it's hard to connect with other like-minded individuals. Or, man, I don't know. I'm just, maybe having love is not for me. Maybe I'm just meant to do this thing on my own. Some of you have been saying that relationships are hard. Some of you have been believing things like this. And this full moon energy is like, cut it out. Stop believing these lies. Stop believing these projections. You no longer have to hold on to them. This full moon energy is helping us to see, like, wait, that was never mine. That was never mine to begin with. And so I can let it go. I can make a new declaration for my life, a new affirmation for my life, and allow that new declaration to evolve me and expand me in a divine and sacred way. All right. Let me say hey to y'all. Your girl was just jumping right in. I was seeing some chaos in here. Peace. Uh Hey, the Modest More, Minnie Lou Designs, Chef Curbs. Hey, sis. Hey, Titus, what's up? Hey, Christian. Be Well, Candace. Hey, Love. Hey, Jenny. Hey, Will, what's up? We are just talking about this full moon that we have happening tomorrow. So we're going to be forgiving ourselves during this energy. This entire week, you're going to be recognizing things that you can let go and that you can forgive and that you can surrender. This entire week, you're going to be making uh, um, new declarations, but the new declarations that we're making for our lives, the new affirmations that we're making for our life, is not actually new, right? It's not like we're pulling it from the cosmos. It's like this new inception. No, it's literally us doing the alchemy of something old. Mm. It's literally us becoming the alchemist.